Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special edition of Activate. My name is Patrick Hine.
And I'm Nate McCarrick. We will be your hosts for today, and like Patrick said, a very special edition. This may be the first time you've ever seen Activate before. This is for the entertainment and hospitality sector. Some of you may be brand new to this. This is a platform. It allows us to talk about new products that we're putting out, to talk about different solutions for using different applications, answer your questions live, share stories, talk with key customers, a lot of exciting things.
For those of you that are new, know that we're going to be answering your questions live via chat, but there is also a live breakout session manned by some of the greatest minds in Q-SYS today, application engineers, strategy leaders, product managers, all of which are here to answer your questions. And Nate mentioned if you are new to Activate, you will be able to chat live with these folks. In addition, we have live breakout sessions. So at the conclusion of today's presentation, you'll be able to go on live with any of these folks and talk about any of the topics that we're going to talk about today.
And we'll have a Q&A in the middle of it too to prove that it's live.
Yeah.
So that it's more useful than just a video.
The other thing that I want to remind people of is that today we are going to be focusing on entertainment and hospitality. It bears reminding folks that when we started Q-SYS almost 15 years ago, we focused quite heavily on this space. And entertainment and hospitality was where Q-SYS really shined in those early days. But it probably means that if you've joined the platform somewhere between now and then, you may only know Q-SYS in its collaboration and its focus on corporate and higher education. So today's presentation is going to be all about bringing everybody up to speed on what we offer in entertainment and hospitality.
Yeah. We have a lot to get through today, like a ton. So forgive us if we talk really quickly. We have so much material we want to go through. We've got a new product launch to talk about with the PL series of performance loudspeakers. We're going to be talking about various different types of integrations in a casino and talking about how you get Q-SYS in all of those different areas. We've got an update on the Core 510i, when you should use it, when you choose between that and the Core 610. There's a lot of questions on that topic. We want to make sure we address those. We've got 2 case studies. We're going to talk to our ecosystem team about new plugins that are coming out. We got a ton to get through. But before we do any of that, we do have a keynote for you all. So I would like to give the stage over to Sanjay, the head of strategy for entertainment and hospitality.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks, Nate. Hey, folks. My name is Sanjay Kulkarni. I lead product strategy for our commercial and entertainment applications. Let me start off by just saying thanks for joining. Thank you for partnering with us. Today, I'm going to talk to you about unique experiences. You know, in the wake of the pandemic recovery, there's plenty of evidence that people want to get back out there. We all do, isn't it? I mean, look at just some examples. Live music is the #1 leisure category for consumers. Spending is up in theme parks and cruise ships. Restaurants are surging. People are just hungry for unique experiences, experiences that they cannot get on their couches or phones. Why? To create great, new, unforgettable memories. And when you really start to dissect these memories, I guarantee you there's great AV at the heart of it. Now, this does not happen by accident. It requires a delicate and intentional balance of art and science, the creativity of your artists, along with some smart technology. Each experience is designed to be unique, to deliver your brand, your message, your vision. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all. And by the way, that bar for unique experiences, it just keeps getting higher and higher. So what does this all mean? As owner-operators, this means you need a platform that can deliver those wow experiences and can scale with you. As consultants and integrators, you need an AV platform that's capable of a couple of things. To provide you a blank canvas for your technical wizards to deliver that unique design, a platform that can connect disparate audio-video subsystems, provide automation control, large amounts of processing power, high channel counts, you name it. Also, you need confidence that the manufacturer is there for you. That means training your programmers, supporting your purchasing needs with transparency and honesty, post-sales maintenance and service, even helping you during installation and commissioning. That is a tall order for a typical AV platform. Fortunately, there is nothing typical about Q-SYS. But don't take my word for it. Ask the NFL. Ask nearly every major global theme park, Resorts World, Hard Rock International. We are proud and humbled to be of service to these and many, many more such brands across the world. Why do you think these customers trust us, put their faith in us? Well, at Q-SYS, we build tools to help you craft amazing experiences. Let's go deeper. Our platform is Intel-powered. That means almost limitless processing power. It is software-based. That means you can configure the system to meet your needs. We are scalable. That means for the same platform, the same software learning curve lets you scale from a small hotel lobby to the most sprawling of resorts very quickly. Let's talk Q-SYS products. Q-SYS products are products that are designed and developed by us. Look, we are not in the business of making a hodgepodge of boxes and leaving you to figure out how to fit them together. We work to understand your needs and then deliver a thoughtful, complete solution that integrates seamlessly. This saves you time and money. This lowers your total cost of ownership. This is important, folks, because this allows you to focus on what matters most to you, designing your experience. Couple that with a robust partner ecosystem, an open API, and an integrated remote monitoring and management to watch over the whole things and even fix minor issues remotely, and the possibilities are just endless. Folks, this is exciting. This truly is game-changing in our industry, and we are just getting started. Look, the world is changing. Experience is everything. We are here to support you as you design the most captivating experiences. Our teams are hard at work building solutions for high-performance audio, commercial video, new cores, better security, cloud offerings, partnerships, and much, much more. You are going to love what we have in store. So stay tuned for the future. Meanwhile, let me hand it back to Patrick and Nate to talk about today's announcements.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thanks, Patrick.
Okay. Well, we all know that you're all here for the new products.
Yeah, new stuff.
So let's start with that. Sanjay mentioned it. We're going to kick off with 5 new models in the PL series. And just because we launched this last year, instead of just going through the new models, we're going to go through the entirety of the PL series, just so you all have a benchmark. I also want to recognize that we are on the internet. If you haven't noticed, we are on the internet. And it's not an ideal place to demonstrate the best quality of a loudspeaker, which is the hearing part.
Unless you buy them for your computer, you're welcome to do that. I encourage it.
It's a strange use case.
I want it to happen.
Outside of that, we will be showing you when and where to get these and where to demo them live once at the conclusion of this presentation.
Yeah. It's worth noting that Q-SYS and QSC are no strangers to high-performance audio solutions. We've been in the space of big performance for 50 years. And the PL series loudspeakers are just built on that legacy of us being in those big venues. We're now adding the legacy of Q-SYS into this world as well. So the PL series loudspeakers are designed to be integrated with Q-SYS, which means that you can bring Q-SYS into the front-of-house applications that you normally have shied away from.
There are 4 different types in the series. We have a line array, a line of subwoofers, and 2 different options for point source, both a coaxial and one that focuses on directivity control. We'll be going over all of those in just a moment.
Take the line array.
Let's start with line array, shall we? 2 models to choose from, an 8-inch and a 12-inch. Both of which are constructed of weatherized ABS, which means that you can use them inside, or as long as they are covered, you can use them in an outdoor arena. You'll be able to hang up to 12 boxes on each of these options, which makes them great for things like a small auditorium or a sports venue. And in fact, we just recently penned deals in South America, both in Chile and Brazil, for soccer stadiums. So we know that these are going to perform well in those use cases. talk a little bit about the technology. We're borrowing a little bit because that's part of the family. We're borrowing some technology from the recently announced L-Class. So they share the same waveguide. It's called Leaf technology, and it provides us optimized sound path, which means consistent HF reproduction, accurate mids and voice reproduction. And it also means that if you happen to be demoing one, the other will sound remarkably similar. So if you get a chance to demo the L-Class, for example, know that the PL series sounds almost identical. The other thing that I'll mention is that once you begin to integrate this, you're going to start to see the value proposition of this line. If you have any familiarity with acoustic coverage and acoustic design series, both Q-SYS loudspeakers, you know that integrating QSE loudspeakers into Q-SYS is a drag and drop operation. Simply drag that component into Q-SYS, and with it comes all of that voice and filter sets that we've created at the manufacturer level, which means that all you need to do is tune for the space instead of needing to also tune to make the loudspeakers sound good. And ultimately, what that provides is great sonic performance and a decrease in that deployment time. Finish off with the mounting options. The mounting hardware is integrated into these boxes. And if you're intending to do them in a hanging format, that array frame is an optional accessory if you choose to do so.
All right, so let's talk about the DC models. Here, DC stands for directivity control. There's 4 models in this line. There is a dual 4-inch model. There's a dual 6-inch model. Those nomenclature on those are the 2.4 and the 2.6. Should be aware that that's not a 24-inch and a 26-inch loudspeaker. It's 2.4 and 2.6, and then you go up to the 8-inch and the 12-inch as well. These, unlike the LA, those are ABS. These are weatherized plywood. They have an ingress IP rating of 54. And the DC, the smaller one, the 2.4, that has a fixed coverage of 120 degrees by 50 degrees. But the other 3 all have reconfigurable horn patterns. So inside they have removable horn pieces that you can choose from which one is most appropriate for your venue that allows you to pick whether you want a wide coverage or narrow coverage. You can have it be symmetrical, you can have it be asymmetrical. Whatever is the proper choice for where you are trying to aim that sound, that is what we're allowing you to do. So that is where the directivity control comes from, really letting you use this like as a scalpel to pick exactly where you need them to end up. As far as mounting options go, these have a variety of mounting options as well. The 2.4 and the 2.6, they actually have a flush mount option that goes right up against the ceiling. So if you think about something like an under balcony fill where you got to get some really specific sound in a specific area, but you don't maybe want to risk it being a visual impairment, that's what that is for. And whereas all the other models, they have yokes and M10 brackets for hanging and mounting arms as well.
That's the DC. Let's talk about those new models. The PLCA are coaxial loudspeakers. So similar to the DCs, they're made of weatherized plywood. But you might notice the difference when we take off these grills. One of them, the DCs, it's a 2-way system, whereas the coaxial features a compression driver that's mounted directly in the center of the woofer. It makes it a little bit more of a compact solution. And as a consequence, too, it is a more economical solution than the DC. So ultimately, what you need to do is choose what you need for that venue. If directivity is key, like in a performance venue, then you should go with the DC. But if you're in, for example, a restaurant scenario where that exacting directivity is not as important, but coverage and good sound is, then you would go with the CA. And then let's talk about
subwoofers. So there's 4 subwoofers in the line. There's the 10-inch, the 12-inch, 15-inch, and an 18-inch. So depending on how much low end you need in your specific venue, that's what those are there for. A reminder that that 18-inch is also designed to be the top box when you're hanging it along with the PLLA12 in the optional array frame. Now, Patrick mentioned this earlier, but it is worth repeating that one of the key values of using PL series is integrating it into a system along with Q-SYS. So if you're already putting Q-SYS into a system where Q-SYS already exists in the system and you need to expand into these high-performance areas, it only makes sense to consider the PL series because you are getting everything tuned by Q-SYS along the way. You're getting the voicings, you're getting the tunings, happens automatically, sent through those CX Q series amplifiers, Everything's designed to push those loudspeakers as hard as we can without actually damaging them, because it's all configured ahead of time by the processing power inside of Q-SYS. And also, that means that you get all the benefits that Q-SYS is going to give you along the way anyways, which means that you can control it and manage it through all of the Q-SYS control engine options. You can monitor anything that's happening with the system remotely through Q-SYS Reflect Enterprise Manager. You get all of that just as part of the suite. So make sure to do that.
So that is the major tenets of the technology story. We promised we would go over where to hear it. If you happen to be fortunate enough to be going to Barcelona in a couple weeks to join us at ISE, we will have a demo space that you can hear these loudspeakers along with the L-Class. If you can wait until June, we will also be demoing it at InfoComm. If you happen to be on the Eastern Seaboard, we have a demo called Leap into Performance Audio, where we'll be showing PL and L-Class. So if you happen to be in Pennsylvania, we'll be releasing that information in a couple of weeks, so make sure to contact... What are you doing?
I'm covering up the spelling error in the word Pennsylvania.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to cover up the spelling error in Barcelona, though.
Oh, geez.
That's on you.
Son of a gun. And if you can't make it to any of those other places, I would highly encourage you to contact your sales rep, and we can arrange additional resources for you to hear these.
Yeah.
All right. Now we talked about PL. I want to kind of open the scope a little bit and talk a little bit more about where Q-SYS plays in entertainment. And there's actually a microcosm in casinos. So I'm going to bring Senior Product Manager Jason Kelly to talk about this topic.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so as Patrick mentioned, we want to walk you through a practical application of Q-SYS in an entertainment venue. So this walkthrough is going to be based on a casino that you may find here in the United States. And the reason we chose that is because there's so many applications we have to cover in this space. So between our gaming floor, our performance area, our retail, dining, and all our ancillary areas, we have a lot of unique experiences that are all managed by Q-SYS. So even though this particular layout is of a casino, you can really apply this logic to any entertainment venue where you have several different applications or several different experiences that you need to manage under one roof. So let's start with the main gaming area. So some of the common applications you're going to have here are background music, paging, video distribution, of course, user control, whether it be of the system or third-party devices such as lighting, HVAC, and all of that needs to be able to be easily monitored and managed by your support staff. So let's look at what that actually looks like. So if we look at our gaming floor, we'll start in the central server room. So here we have a Q-SYS core that's handling our centralized AV services. So think distributed background music, venue-wide paging. We also have some digital signage players connected to our NV series endpoints that can be distributed to displays around the floor. We've also deployed a Core 8 Flex for local AV&C processing. And the reason we do that is because this hybrid processing topology really gives us the best of both worlds, ensuring that if I'm in a mission critical area such as my gaming floor, I can I need a core that's dedicated to that space that's always up and running, regardless of what's happening in the central server room. Now, all of the cores in the venue are connected to Q-SYS Reflect Enterprise Manager, and that's going to allow support staff to remotely monitor system health and proactively maintain the entire system, including the connected peripherals. So in our dining and retail spaces, you're going to see that these applications actually are the same. So background music, video distribution, user control. But it's the end experience that's very different. And that's not just for visitors, but for the staff who have to interact with the system day to day. So in my restaurant here, I have two different audio experiences in my bar and in my dining area. I also have a customized UCI that allows support staff to make manual system adjustments or choose from different presets based on our time of day and how they want the system to sound. And then I can further automate processes by having the Q-SYS system reset at the end of the day. So when the morning staff comes in, they don't even have to think about getting the system up and running. And now you just heard about the benefits of pairing PL series with Q-SYS. So not only does your performance area need high performance audio, but now you have a singular AV platform that's going to be able to deliver on the rest of the applications that you're still going to have in that space. So looking at our performance area, this particular performance area is, in the middle of the gaming floor. So we first have a PL series handling the front of house sound in that performance space. We're using software-based Dante to bring in the console's mix output to distribute it to other spots in the venue, including the surrounding gaming area, because you may have, of course, patrons who want to hear the performance that they can clearly see. And then finally, let's talk ancillary areas. So this can be anything from a lobby to a pool area where maybe you just need some background music with simple user control. For this pool area, it's an outdoor pool area, we've deployed our weatherized landscape speakers, which are going to provide the music for the area. And then our connected Q-SYS touchscreen lets us choose playlists, make level adjustments. Again, I can set different presets for this area. And then this particular venue also has poolside cabanas. So like anywhere in the venue, you need to be able to customize the control experience based on who's using the system. And in this case, it can be anyone. So we really need it to be simple. So we have source selection, simple audio controls, display controls, and that's really it. But that allows anyone to be able to interact with the system. And that's it. So that's Q-SYS enabling a venue-wide experience. I'm going to send it back to Nate and Patrick.
Thank you, Jason. Jason just covered what a sprawling organization could benefit from with Q-SYS, but there might still be entertainment and hospitality installations that are still a little too small for Q-SYS. At which point, I want to make sure to tell everyone about the QSC Premium Business Music Solution. Now, we came out with this around 2019, 2020, and it is not a Q-SYS, it's not a true Q-SYS system. It is a standalone audio system, but it is very capable of delivering a great audio solution for some of those smaller spaces. So think about those small restaurants, small retail spaces. It's comprised, the line is comprised of the NPM processor, the MPA amplifiers. There's a touchscreen wall mount controller. It's not touchscreen, pardon me, it's an analog button controller. There are also loudspeakers that you can pair with them. They are called the AD subsat systems. So again, if these are new to you, I would highly encourage you to go onto the website and then ask your QSC sales rep about them. So with that, I'm gonna open it up to questions. Yeah. Siobhan is manning the Q&A area because Jason just got off stage. Line us up with some Q&A, please.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so the first question coming in is, can I ground stack the PL LA series?
Yeah, you can. You can stack the LA12 can be stacked above the 18-inch subwoofer. The 8 cannot be stacked. So the LA12 does ground stack.
Yeah, worth mentioning too that in that ground stack option, no additional accessories are required for that. Good one. What's next?
Looks like the next one is, what version of Q-SYS Designer software includes the voicing for PL series?
I'll take that one. Sure. So we actually have a new version of Q-SYS Designer software. 9.10 is going to be coming out next week, and it will feature everything that you saw in the presentation except for the coaxial model, because the first customer ship on that is, I believe, around May or April.
That was our next question, was what is the availability for the PL?
The LA is early February, right? The DC is late February, I believe, and the 18-inch woofer is early February as well.
Correct. And the subwoofers are early February, coming with the line array. Right. Good. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for now.
Thank you, Siobhan.
No personal questions? We never get deep personal questions.
No, I feel wounded.
All right, let's move on. We still got a lot more to go through.
Let's bring up Emily Eicher, who is our product manager for ecosystems. We're going to basically fill in the gaps in these large installations where Q-SYS products meet our partner integrations.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yep.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here today. So as Patrick mentioned, I'm Ecosystem Product Manager for Q-SYS, and today I'm going to be speaking a little bit about a few of our solutions within the Q-SYS ecosystem that enable the entertainment and hospitality markets. The Q-SYS ecosystem is comprised of, in part, by our ever-evolving collection of third-party integrations called plugins. So one of those plugins is our Bright Sign plugin, and as we know, digital signage is a big part of creating meaningful experiences. Digital signage is, that way that we do wayfinding. Users come into those spaces and they can see where they're going, they can see the information that they need, but you can also create those elevated experiences. This plugin allows Q-SYS to control and monitor Bright Sign players, allowing Q-SYS to be the single source of automation triggers for any experience. Let's take a museum, for example. An attendee walks in, maybe they enter their name on a touch panel, answer a few questions, and then the content can be adapted to show that person's name as they walk through the space and select their name. Maybe we're enabling language support with that as well. You could also have zones set up in Q-SYS with the Q-SYS Vision Suite. So as a user walks into a specific zone, different content is triggered, and as they walk out of that zone, maybe you're going back to a still slide or something like that. We will be showing something very similar to this at ISE, so we're looking forward to being able to see some of you there. In addition to signage, background music is an important part of the experience. That's why we've worked with Perfect Octave to create the Perfect Octave plugin. This plugin is kind of unique because you can actually play all of your background music directly on the core. There's no extra hardware needed. You're not talking to a hardware box. You're actually bringing the songs directly onto the core. So let's take a restaurant, for example. You have music playing, people are dining. Maybe there's a reference mic inside that venue to be able to change the volume of the background music based on the loudness. We could also augment this by choosing between specific playlists based on loudness. So if you have, customers engaged and they're kind of getting louder, you could play rock music versus if you're it's the afternoon, it's more relaxed, you want to play something more like smooth jazz, you could do that. And ultimately, what that does is it ends up making the customer, being the restaurant, more money because the customers are more engaged. Additionally, we can do things like scheduling of the background music and also put those manual controls for the staff to be able to see the album artwork, but also choose, play, pause, skip to the next playlist, things like that. Lighting is another very important part of creating those amazing experiences. So dynamic lighting within Q-SYS is very important, and that's why we've worked with ETC to publish the ETC Unison Mosaic, Paradigm, and Echo plugins. These allow you, obviously, to control and automate lighting within Q-SYS. Let's take a hotel lobby example. Q-SYS can automatically adjust the lighting in the bar and in the reception area separately or together. We could also do something like have an ambient light sensor in the space that adjusts the warmth of the lighting so that when a customer comes into the space, they feel like that welcoming environment that you want in a hotel. So I've talked a lot about automation. Let's talk about manual control for those environments when you still need to be able to take over with a physical device to drive Q-SYS. Last year, we released the Scarhoy Waveboard plugin, and that plugin allows you to control audio inside of Q-SYS with physical motorized faders. But coming soon, we will be releasing the Scarhoy PTZ controller plugin. You may have heard of the Scarhoy PTZ Fly plugin. Basically, these are PTZ controllers with joysticks and multiple buttons and encoders. And we will be supporting all of the PTZ controllers that have the Blue Pill API. So that's the Extreme, the Pro V2, the Fly, and the Wiz. And so that, that really works for these circumstances. Let's say you have a cruise ship and you have like a comedy space, you have multiple music venues and a theater, and you want to be able to bring in these physical controllers into these spaces, set camera shots, adjust exposure, save presets. Maybe you're using NV to preview a shot and then take that shot live. All of this is possible from a single physical controller and software integration with Q-SYS. So that's all I have for you today, and I'm going to hand it off to Bonnie, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks so much, Emily. So today we are going to be taking a peek behind the curtain into Meow Wolf. This is an immersive art environment with maximalist audience-driven experiences, and they've selected Q-SYS across all of their locations in the United States. Let's learn a bit more. And now we're joined by Matt Hedich, Audio, Video, and Lighting Director for Meow Wolf. Hello, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So as I mentioned earlier, we do have Q-SYS across all of your installations, specifically Q-SYS Control, and you are creating some seriously dynamic experiences. Can you tell us a little bit about how you are using Q-SYS Control in that?
Yeah, so when we started building the House of Eternal Return, which is our exhibit in Santa Fe, New Mexico, it was built on a very DIY platform, DIY audio, network audio system. And because the company is very artist-led, the exhibits are very artist-led, we needed something that was robust, could run all day, but also could support the most creative experiences we could support with audio and other control systems. So 6 years ago when I started, we landed on Q-SYS. As we use Q-SYS to play back something like 1,100 audio channels in any given exhibit, and about half of those are playing from looping and triggered audio players. Half of it's playing from custom software we make in an environment called Maximus P.
So you've gone even deeper beyond Q-SYS Control. I heard you mention El Jefe. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what El Jefe is and how it works?
Yeah, so we have a really, really awesome creative technology and systems team, and they were evaluating different show control options for our unique situations. We have, non-linear, very choose-your-own-adventure, psychedelic themed kind of like funhouse experiences. And as they evaluated the various options that were available off the shelf, they decided that it was a better idea to build our own. And so that team, mostly led by Kathy Laughlin and Joseph White, built a Lua version of a show management platform into Q-SYS. We call it El Jefe. And because we already use Q-SYS for a lot of control and audio in exhibitions, because it stays up all the time, because it's very stable, we chose that platform to host this environment.
So you're clearly not afraid of pioneering. So tell us a little bit on what's next for Q-SYS and Meow Wolf.
Well, we're kind of evaluating what we can do to expand the capabilities of creative technology in our exhibitions. We're technical artists, and we're very interested in highly spatial audio experiences, highly generative audio experiences. So we're evaluating what we can do with Q-SYS to do more spatial mixing, more generative audio, more gameplay work. All of our exhibitions are very interactive. There's a lot of lighting, audio, and video sync. So we're evaluating ways to make that tighter and more expanded. We just opened an exhibition in Dallas, outside of Dallas in Grapevine, Texas, called The Real Unreal. And that exhibition is showing off a lot more of our capabilities than anything else we've done before. And additionally, we have a new exhibition coming soon in Houston, Texas, that's going to be even more evolved. So with every exhibition, we try to expand the creative technology work that we can do, support the art, and support the experience of the guests even more.
So speaking of exhibitions, if you are going to be joining us at InfoComm this year, check out the Meow Wolf Megomart exhibition. It is fantastic. And thank you so much, Matt, for giving us your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Now on to Patrick.
Thank you, Bonnie. Okay. Now, if you have been monitoring the conversations on communities and on the Facebook groups, you know that the Core 510 is a hot topic, and we pride ourselves on transparency and commitment to you, the customers, to giving you the latest and greatest information. So we want to tackle this topic head on and help everyone understand how and when to use the 510 versus the other cores, including the 610. But first, this may be Greek to all of you. You might not be aware of what we're talking about, so let's actually level the playing field and layer in a little bit of history before we dive in.
Yeah, talking a little bit about what the 510 is and what the 610 is and how they got to where they are. It was always in part of our original roadmap for the Core 610 to eventually replace the Core 510i. And we hoped to allow both processors to exist at the same time for a quite a long period of time. We thought it would be a nice long transition from one core to the other, which would really give us a lot of time to develop more Q-SYS products that could help fill that small functionality gap between the 510 and the 610 as that transition period extended. But the reality is that we didn't get that option as much as we wanted to. There were complexities in the world, the pandemic, the scarcities that came from the pandemic, those affected a lot of the components that were inside the Core 510. And because of that, we had to put the 510 into end of life earlier than we would have preferred to. That meant that we had to accelerate the production of the 610 in order to make up for what we were now lacking in that space. But the 610 is not a perfect replacement for the 510. We recognized that there was still a little bit of a functionality gap between those two devices.
That is why, in addition to bringing the 610 to market, we actively went looking for and found additional components to support the 510, which means that we brought it back in January. And we let all the partners know, both in the communication in January and in November, that the 510 had returned to the price list along with its associated I/O cards. Now, it's worth saying also that we have acquired and set aside enough stock to make sure that not only can we sell the 510 and the cards, but we can also support it in its full warranty. So if you were to purchase the 510 today, you would rest assured that we could support it for the full extent of that warranty. It's important to consider the resources and the use cases for 510.
Well, yeah.
610.
First things first, if you want to talk about pure processing power and pure network audio channel count, for instance, the 510 and the 610 are essentially the same. The 610 and the 510 have the same number of network audio channels that you can carry with the QLAN channels. In fact, you can actually expand the number of AEC channels and QLAN channels that the 610 can process if you apply the software feature license that's part of it. So 610 can actually handle more channels than the 510 can. Well, we certainly believe that the 610, along with other cores in the portfolio, are going to serve the vast majority of the needs in the entertainment and hospitality markets, for sure. There's also, if you pair the 610 with any of our I/O devices, the Q-SYS series of devices, you get all the analog inputs and outputs that you could need. If you need higher density ins and outs, if the Q-SYS are not quite enough in each of those boxes, you might want to consider using one of our cores in peripheral mode to get higher channel count in a single box paired with the 610 in order to get all those channels. You could even use the Aterotech Synapse devices, which will provide a similar functionality. So that is basic analog ins and outs. So why would you want to use the 510 then?
Well, so let's talk about redundancy. So if you need audio redundancy on your cores, then you would choose the 510. Whether that's in core mode or peripheral mode, you would choose that associated I/O card and achieve your audio I/O redundancy. If you are instead looking for processor I/O, or you're looking for network I/O, processing redundancy or networking redundancy, then the reality is any of the cores can handle that. All of them have dual QLAN NICs and auxiliary ports on the back. If you're looking for an additional reason to buy the Core 610, if you need additional auxiliary outs, it has an additional network port out that you can use for aux reasons like network services, management, control, versus the 510 that only has the single aux for control uses and whatnot. That's okay. The other core reason why you would choose 510 right now, did you see what I did there, is for clock domain usage with Dante. So if this is a need of yours, you probably already know what that is. I'm not going to take a ton of time explaining what this is, but effectively, if isolating that clock on a Dante network is important, then you would choose the 510 because the 610 cannot do this at this time.
It's also worth noting that there is a physical size difference between the two. If you're going into a new install and you are able to spec the rack that's going in there, then this isn't really an issue. But if you're retrofitting a system that's already got a 510 in there and you're thinking about replacing it with a 610, just be aware that there is a size difference. The 510 is a 2 RU unit and the 610 is a 1 RU unit, so it is smaller, but it is deeper. It's about 24 inches deep, whereas the 510 was only about 15 inches deep. So go in there and double check that there's enough room in the back of the rack that you can actually slide that in there, or else you have to just saw it in half.
No, we're not saying.
And then hope
don't
it
say that
works.
out loud. No, 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 no. We have a few final thoughts. One of which is probably going to be obvious. We would highly encourage you to talk with your QSC and Q-SYS sales representative. They're going to be the ones that help you navigate that conversation. And in fact, the quantities of the 510 are regionally based. So if you want the latest and greatest on how many 510s are out there, make sure to contact those folks. We know that we went through this relatively fast, and we know that there's going to be lots of other questions, particularly on Dante. So make sure to go to the breakout session to have those conversations. Smarter people than us are going to be present. The other thing that I'll say is that we are actively listening to your voices and learning from them. So I think it bears repeating that, make no mistake, we are here to stay in entertainment and hospitality. Our resolve in this area is unshaken. We talked a little bit about the PL series. I should mention that we have ample amounts of CX-Q series amplifiers and QIO to support all of the systems that are going to be paired with the PL series. The other thing that I'll say is a reminder about what Sanjay covered in his keynote, which is that we have additional amplifiers coming for this vertical. We have solutions for that high-performance audio across the entire signal chain coming soon. We're developing new commercial video solutions. We're developing new core, updating security for these spaces. So I just want to take a moment to thank everybody that have put their faith into our entertainment and hospitality solution, and I'm really excited to tell you about them in the coming months and years. And with that, one more case study. So I'm going to hand it off to Bonnie. We're to talk about a little about
Thank
theme
you.
parks.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back to share about one of the most heartwarming uses of Q-SYS I have come across, and that's Give Kids the World Village. This is an 89-acre nonprofit resort that shares their week-long vacations with critically ill children and their families. That allows them to visit the Florida theme parks and experience the Give Kids the World Village hospitality, attractions, and activities. So let's take a look. And here I have with me, I am Cole, Chief Innovation Officer for Give Kids the World Village. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we get this kicked off with a quick overview on how Give Kids the World Village is leveraging Q-SYS across campus?
We do use Q-SYS across the village, and we provide entertainment for our Wish families, and we really use the product to provide just seamless entertainment across the village. Whether that's audio video control at our giant video wall that's on our pirate ship at the pool, or it's at our nightly entertainment. We have themed parties every night that Q-SYS helps make possible. We also have immersive experiences that we've built for the Wish families. And to do that, we use a number of Q-SYS products, from the Core 510i's over to the NV32 in core mode. That's one of my favorite products to use when we've got to do video. It works very well for us. And then we also use the CX-Q amplifier series and a wide array of Q-SYS speakers.
So you saw in the intro, and you mentioned just now, just all this complexity, activities, attractions. So that seems like there is complexity that comes with it that maybe Q-SYS is helping you solve for?
Oh, absolutely. So before we started, we had a lot of disparate equipment. Each venue had been built over 30 years, different parts, different pieces, and it was very challenging for our entertainment team to come in and learn how it all worked. So by deploying Q-SYS, we've been able to automate our show setup significantly and give our entertainment team a very easy-to-use, common user interfaces across our venues. And that means that they can spend more time out with the families, interacting and having fun, and not stuck behind a mixing board. And that's better for everyone. We've also built several immersive experiences, like Stellar Star Experience. So Stellar is our star ferry. And each child decorates a star and gives it to Stellar so that she can hang it in our castle. And so Q-SYS in that case is providing not only the control of the audio and immersive sound, but also the lights and other components to make that show really, really fantastic. We also, you mentioned we're a hotel, so we have to think about safety quite a bit. We have pools, and we're in the lightning capital of the US. So lightning safety is a big deal for us. And what we've used Q-SYS for is to take a signal from our lightning warning system and actually stop the movie at the pool, display a friendly warning message, and start playing a loop in multiple languages. And that helps families, get out of the pool and get to a safe area before the storm is upon us.
Well, that's incredibly important. So, Orlando might be the lightning capital. It is arguably also the theme park capital of the United States. Can you give us a little bit of the inside scoop on how some of these major theme parks are looking at Q-SYS as a part of kind of their roadmap and modern architecture?
Oh, absolutely. I love going to the theme parks and seeing how it's all made. And we do have lots of friends in the industry, and they are using Q-SYS significantly for new rides, new shows, and new attractions. In fact, our Q-SYS journey started when someone from one of the large theme parks in Orlando actually came to us and said, Q-SYS would actually help you with a lot of the challenges that you're having. And they introduced us to the team and helped us place our first order and really get ourselves into the platform. And what I'm hearing when I talk to my friends in the industry is, they really are using Q-SYS wherever they can. And when I asked why, what they told me was they have the flexibility to control the different devices that they need, because each ride, each attraction is very different. But they also know it's going to scale, because it's easy to pick a product where it works at a small level, but to do it at theme park scale, you've got to make sure that it's really going to do it. And that's where Q-SYS, by listening and talking to the themed entertainment industry, has really proven that the product can deliver, and it's going to support whatever crazy thing the theme parks dream up next.
So speaking of things that you're going to dream up next, tell us a little bit about the roadmap of Q-SYS and Give Kids the World Village.
So we're continuing to modernize our venues, right? We're continuing to kind of go venue by venue and figure out how we can improve, and additional automation, and that's been really important. And I think it's going to help us continue to continue to bring those great experiences to the Wish families. Additionally, we're building a new center right now. It's a hands-on STEM education center called Mayor Clayton's Wonder Lab, where kids will have an opportunity to do hands-on things like 3D printing and sewing. But we also have some immersive tech in there, maybe a little inspired by our friends at Meow Wolf. And Q-SYS is going to be at the heart of all of that interactive audio, as well as controlling the overall building. So, as we think about our roadmap going forward, I really echo what our theme park partners are saying, which is no matter what we dream up, we know Q-SYS is going to be there to make it possible. And so it's a very, very strategic investment for us in the future, knowing that we're going to be able to continue delivering those experiences.
Well, I can't wait to see what's next. And Ian, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for everything you and your team do. It's such meaningful work.
Well, it takes all of us working together, and Q-SYS has been a huge partner for us, and we really appreciate your support.
Absolutely. And back to Patrick.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Ian. What a great story. Thank you so much. I think we have reached the end of today's program.
Correct, but there's still more.
There's still more. Now is the time that we're hoping that if you didn't get your questions answered in the Q&A, to go to the breakout sessions. There should be a button on the left-hand side of your screen called Sessions. Know that you can go to different sessions. You can pop into one, go to the next one, get your questions answered. Our moderators will be there for up to 45 minutes or so. So feel free to ask them any questions that you might have. And with that, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us today live, and we'll see you in the breakout sessions. Bye now.
Take care.